Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's program. Today, I'm with two very valuable members of ISSA. We have Lauren Smith, who's the Business Development Manager with Crescent Cleaning Company in Chicago. We have Rebecca Kaufold, the Manager of Government Affairs and Sustainability with Spartan Chemical Company. So welcome, ladies, to our program.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you today. Now, you were both involved with the Clean Advocacy Summit recently. There were a couple of days of interaction there that you were on our virtual summit. So today we want to look at your perspective, get your input as to what you learned from that and how you value the advocacy efforts that you're involved in. So Lauren, let's start with you.
Sure.
Can you tell us about the importance of advocacy efforts as it pertains to your organization, Crescent Cleaning?
Absolutely. So Crescent Cleaning Company has about 200 people out in the field. And luckily we had a small reduction of staff. It was only about 5 to 10%. And that means that throughout the pandemic, our janitors were out in the field. They were cleaning private schools, they were cleaning office buildings, museums, and other spaces that had people in and out of their buildings. We were expecting to hear janitors included in an early round of vaccinations, but that didn't happen despite their potential exposure while working in the field every day. So it made me want to speak up and point out the hard work that our personnel are putting in and that I believe they should be considered frontline workers.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Rebecca, what about your perspective?
Right. So Spartan manufactures products that Lauren's employees are using in their everyday work experience. So we sort of act as the middleman between raw material suppliers and then our downstream customers using the finished product. So from a regulatory perspective, as there's been a decreased amount of federal regulations, there's been an influx of state regulations. And so we're trying to constantly make sure that our position in the middle, that we're properly accounting for both upstream and downstream regulations.
One follow-up to you, Rebecca, is this. So Spartan's an ISSA Advocacy Fund contributor. Can you tell us why it's important to support that type of fund?
Right. So from our perspective as well, I mean, Spartan has been very historically dedicated to our GNC and distributors, and our business is to supply them products to keep them functional. But we understand that there's a broader perspective on how we do things and the implications that has for them. So by working in advocacy groups that represent sectors of the industry that we don't actually physically interact with, it helps us stay in touch. It helps make sure that our efforts are more directed towards where our customers need. So it just sort of expands our touch and our reach and helps support our customers and their downstream customers.
All right. Well, it makes sense. Very good. So to both of you, and maybe Lauren, we'll start with you on this question. What do you find beneficial about being connected to your elected officials?
I was taught that if you want to see change in the world, you need to act and you need to participate. Our elected officials want to hear the concerns of their constituents and the communities they represent. Janitors are the silent army. They are often overlooked because they work at night when most of us are done with the workday. Most of our clients and building tenants just don't see the janitors and don't interact with them. Our janitors work so hard and they need someone to stand up and speak on their behalf.
Yeah, they're the silent warriors in the background. Not so much in the background as they used to be.
Right.
Rebecca, what do you think?
Well, from my perspective, we're an Ohio-based company. We're a large family-owned company, and we interacting with our representatives allows us to keep a personal face attached to that. So it's not just the economic development that we give our state and the greater country as a whole, but it's the very specific fact that we are people who live in this community and who are active in the community. So making sure that they remember the people's faces in association with whatever regulations and rules or credits that they're pushing on our behalf.
Yeah, very good. So thinking about your summit experience, Rebecca, we'll start with you on this one. What can you tell us about your meetings with Congress during the Clean Advocacy Summit? Any stories to share? Was it intimidating? That kind of details.
So I was pretty apprehensive. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. But what was great is that ISSA and the partners of the Advocacy Summit made it so simple. It felt completely relaxed. It was a great conversation. We were lucky because we were talking to Senator Portman, who is not only just an advocate in terms of the healthy workplace tax credit, but he's a big proponent of free trade. So we had a lot of commonality, and his representative was a great sounding board.
Yeah,
good.
I had never participated in an advocacy event or discussion with political leaders. So naturally, it was a little intimidating, even though I'm in business development and sales and talk to people and strangers all the time. But the team at ISSA was fantastic at preparing us for meetings with lots of information, specific talking points, which helped me mentally prepare for my portion of the discussion. And there was a good mixture of companies represented from all around the cleaning industry to tell a complete story of how the cleaning industry was affected by the pandemic, by vaccine protocols and policies, and the tariffs.
Good. Yeah, it sounds like it was an interesting experience, and you got some things done and some questions answered and made a difference. My last question would be, if one of your peers were to ask you, why should I be an industry advocate and get involved? What would you tell them? And Lauren, maybe we'll start with you this time.
Sure. After participating in the virtual summit and sharing the news on social media, I became connected to like-minded industry peers around the country and many more in Chicagoland. So now my network includes more people that are passionate about the advancement of our industry and passionate about creating healthy environments for our clients. I have also helped show our clients and our employees that the leadership at Crescent Cleaning cares about their safety, and it's not just lip service.
I think that I would highly encourage all of my peers to get involved. It definitely ensures your continued compliance. It helps you better understand that upstream and downstream effect that you have on your business. And I think the really pivotal thing for companies like mine that are manufacturing these products is that kind of advocacy work gives you an idea about what's happening outside your walls to help you be a little bit more competitive in terms of what you see happening in the future, what's coming down the line. It helps you innovate better and just gives you better perspective. So I would say that it's a definite competitive advantage from that point as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So this was a virtual event. If next year this is in person in DC, would you go?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I would.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the pandemic does, but I do thank you both for your help on ISSA advocacy efforts and being here today to share your experiences. And those watching this can look forward to the next summit and be involved as you were. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.